Well, at long last, folks, it is. Welcome to the Totally Awesome Fishing Show. It's welcome to the first session of lockdown, for me anyway. I'm down here at Minehead. Minehead is, I mean, right in there. Well, it's here as well, Graeme. I'm on Minehead Beach with Craig Butler, who's a guide. We're doing all the social distancing today, probably go through a talk of how it's all sort of panning out, because Craig is a guide, so he can still take people guiding. And provided he's got all the equipment, blah blah blah, you know, all the stuff, but he's going to run through it anyway. So I've got my mask, I've got my gloves, I've got hand sanitizer, toilet paper. We have to have toilet. Tell me we're going to run out of eggs next. Mad, isn't it, eh? What a mad world. And Craig, being a perfect gentleman, is over here. He is already trying to dig a few worms. We're on the town beach. It's flooding in, it's going to be windy. I'm going to have to use just this camera. And I've got two rods out here. Craig's got his two. We threw them straight out. And I think Craig's got whole sections of sandal on there. I'm watching my rods. And I've got half sections. I've got small hooks. I figured there might be anything about. You know, there might be a doggy, small codlin, immature bass, tiny small live rays. There might even be big small live rays. When I say big, probably 4, 5, 6 pounds, which, you know, for a town beach is still pretty good fishing, because look, it's only there. There's over there, I'll turn it, just over there is a Butlins, huge Butlins holiday camp. But as you can see, lockdown's been lifted for fishermen, but the beach is deserted. I have no problem with that whatsoever. Actually, it's a different reel I've got. It's got, my God, it's got brand new line on it, Graeme. What has possessed you? That's called an air loop. Let's go around this side and show you. I don't think I've used this one before. Maybe I've used it and not filmed it. This one I've used before, that one definitely. That one I've used for big jacks and stuff like that. But that one, I've got a decent line on it. I haven't got a shock lid. I'm on 50-pound braid straight through on both of those, and it's just a heave-ho type of beach here. But you can see beautiful blue sky, a bit of a blistering cold northeasterly wind. It probably does look like sort of a cross between winter, spring and summer. It's a bit of everything today with the wind. And then Craig's got some worms over there anyway, so that's good news. The tide's going to be flooding in. It's about 12:30, I think, high water, around about 12:30. So there's a chance of anything at the moment. Look, guys, we're just going fishing for fishing's sake. First trip out. It's just nice after about 7 or 8 weeks of threading some line through the rod rings. So I'm keeping my 2 meters distance from the man with the fork, which I find is very good. He's got a worm. Good man, Craig. Yeah, nice lugworm there. There's always a chance.
Boom, boom, there's a knock at the door, but don't freeze in your tracks. It's that chance that you've been waiting for. It's the light coming through the cracks. When life shows an open door, come on, step through. A chance like the purest gold. Come on, come on. When life shows an open road, you know you should ride. Forget what you've been told and ride this open road. This open road. This open road. Boom, boom, that knock on your door is sounding further away. Don't lose sight like was times before. This is now today. When life shows an open door.
You can do anything but lay off of my blue suede lugworm. That's my mic. I'm going to clip this to it. It goes about 8 feet, so it's over the distance. And then Craig will tell you about digging the worms there, because I can extend the mic. It's going to be windy, and we'll give it a try.
On many beaches you'll find lugworm in very soft sinky sand, and it's near on impossible to dig them with a standard fork, but there is a way of getting around it with a fork, if I explain here. First of all, locate the hole and the worm cast. This is only really possible when the worms are large worms and they're spread out evenly on the beach, so you can determine which cast belongs to which hole. And a good little trick I was taught by an old school angler many years ago was to come round this one side of the cast, which I'm going to do here, dig a fork, just a spit of a fork, lift it out, get rid of the sand, and then keeping an eye on the hole and the cast, come round, give it about 6 inches away from it, straight down with the fork. You can go down as far as you like, and then as you've removed this hole here, it gives you a bit better leverage to lift it up. This is where the spade snaps, and it's not always successful, but quite often it is. And there we have it. It's only a small one. But it's a start, especially with the tackle shop shut and bait, live bait being near on impossible to get.
Now, I've got my masks here, guys, but I can do a little spell on the fork here before the tide covers it up by using my gloves. Although Craig has used that fork, it's not a problem because I can just put on the gloves like this. I mean, this might be the norm, people. It might be the norm. I'd much rather Craig gets hold of the fork and digs all the worms, but I'm going to give it a go. God almighty. Actually, these are pretty good things to use if you're baiting up, if you're a bit squeamish about bait, these rubber gloves like this. And of course then I can anti-back the gloves, but if I was baiting up I would take them off to bait up. I don't fancy this on my fingers on the bait. As yet we have moved the rods back so the tide's coming in, so I'm going to have a 5-minute spell while we've got a few worm casts.
And then you probably won't get it there, but you'll get it when you come round that side. It depends how deep they are, but I'd like to think when the tide's coming in, they come close to the surface, but I'm not sure.
No, it's done. Yep. Oh my God, that's my first worm of 2020. I've clipped it with a fork, but you never know, might get a fish. Oh, I'm so pleased. Yay! Wow, it's so good to be out, people, just doing this. I can almost come out and just go digging worms. Let's go and find some more worm casts. I don't want the tide to come in. There's one there, look. You see, there's the hole. That's the cast, and he's in this area here. So Craig's saying go down here. And then come back this way. And that time, nothing. And then, as you saw Craig doing early on, just fill the holes in. Takes a second just to kick it in with your boot. Well, I think I've got one rig lost already, first cast. Got to be good news, isn't it? One rig lost. See if we can wang out some worms. I've dug up some worms now. Oh, thank God it didn't break off. Oh, that's not good, guys. That's not good, is it? Oh dear. That is what largely a waste of time. So now I'm dragging my bait in. That means I can't fish out a mark. That's a bit weird. I'm down to one rod. What the heck? That's where I've lost the line. Oh. Fishing inshore for dabs with this one, I'm afraid. There we go. What a setting though. Blue sky, very cold wind. I've got my anti-vac gloves on. And nothing on this one. It's worth another cast. I might actually put another worm on this one, because that one's going nowhere.
It's open road. It's open road. Boom, boom, that knock on your door. It's sounding further away. Don't lose sight like was times before. This is now today. When life shows an open door, come on, step through. A chance like the purest gold. Come on, come on. When life is an open road.
I've made a combo bait of half sandal and lugworm, but I've lashed them together. Let's see if I can get it out there. Hopefully they don't break off. They didn't go very far. So I'm down to pretty well one rod. This other rod, if we move to another mark, is not going to catch anything at all, because I won't be able to get past the snags. Annoying, I put a spare reel in. I did put a spare reel. I normally got spare spool of line for those sort of things. But as they say, do happens. And it does, and it did. I topped off the line. So I know exactly what I did. I topped off with the line. I think the knot got buried, and then it's just gone at the knot of the join. And that's why I'm now out of line. That's why I don't like these shallow spools. I like the deeper ones like that. Anyway, I've got great faith in the worms. I've got great faith. I've got to get back up there and get my sandwiches. Actually, it's not, once you're out and your body temperature drops, it's not quite as cold as you think it is. As luck would have it, in my grubby little pocket, I found my most prized possession of the day. A leftover sausage roll, probably from last year. Lovely. That'll save me going back to the car. It would be funny if I caught something on that one inside. Put a bit more tension in that one, because the wind's pushing this way. Gets a bit of weed on the line, it's going to drag. And Craig said there's small tide, so there's not going to be much movement. So we've moved down by these groins. Now it's weird. If you look at the top of the water, it's right on the top of the tide, just dropping back there. You can see where the weed's been washed up there. You can see from the weed, it's already dropped back 6-8 feet there. So it will fall out of here quickly. But as Craig says, over this side, as you can see, I'll take up on these boulders. It's like a sea defence thing. If I can get up there, my age. How did I get up last time? I'll just show you. There, look. There's the water there, and out here, much deeper. Probably very shallow over there, you can see the surf. Pretty spot to fish though. Actually, I think it's safe at my age to sit down. It's lovely in the sun down there out the wind. As Craig said, what happens when this ebbs, the tide's going to come in behind me, hit this big lagoon bit, and funnel out around the edge. So he's cast very close to the edge to try and pick a fish up there. I've just got my two just lobbed out in the sort of this bit of bay area.
Using a sand eel today, I'm going to target in the rays down here, target the small eyes, the spotted rays, chance of a blom ray. So got a large sand eel, nipped the tail off, nipped the head off just behind the gills, so lots of blood. When it's still semi-frozen at the moment, so when that defrosts, lots of blood will come out of there. So basically, lots of ways to do a sand eel, but today I'm going to bait up by just threading it on a hook like I would a worm. So just poke it in the end here, and just bend it round the shank of the hook, round the bend of the hook, up the shank. You need to manipulate it a little bit. You know, if you puncture the skin, sort of reverse on yourself, and then go back. It's all a bit of trial and error, really. Practice makes perfect and all that. And then I'm going to get it in there. So you can see the blood starting to ooze out there now, and you can see there's one of the gill covers of the eel still on there, which is on here. And then what I'm going to do is get the top pulley, the top pennel hook. Slide it down, poke it in the top there, twist it round, poke out the side, pull this excess bit of line out like so, pull it up to the rubber, and there we go. We're going to put a bit of elastic on there as well just to secure it. I've got some fine bait elastic here, just quite a few turns of that to secure it. More important to secure it to the top pennel hook, because that will stop it from sliding up and down. If the ring tube is not tight enough. So we're going on there. We'll go a couple of turns down the sand eel, once underneath the hook, and then we'll just give it once back up, and pay lots more of attention round the top here, and then underneath there, and then underneath there, and that will secure it to the hook. And hopefully that it should stay in place then. And then you could either twist it around and tie a knot, or just this stuff, pull it into the sand eel, and just pull it off, and that will constrict in there and hold in nicely.
Well, thank goodness, guys, Craig has got a dogfish, so that was worth the move. In fact, I'm going to film it from here, say breaking my ankles. Well, you've heard of the film Sleepless in Seattle. I'm fishless in minded at the moment. But you never know, there's hope if there's a doggy out there.
There we go, so the target species, but probably the smallest small eye in Minehead. But hey, target species accomplished. So still got a few more hours to go, so we'll take that for a start anyway.
Oh, there's a fish on there or not, you know? I haven't got a clue. I better wheel this in so it's snagged. Feels like just a load of weed, guys. No, there's a fish there, there's a fish. Oh God, I've saved the blade. What is it? He's probably been on this since 2019. It is. Surprise, surprise, a dogfish and weed, but still, many is the day a dogfish has saved the blank. Let's get him unhooked. I think I had a tap on the other one as well. Well, a dogfish is something and a ray. Funny how they both came at the same time. So, I think I'm going to fish the same hook again, same bait. That one sort of gave me a little bit of a slack liner, but not too much. So I think there's nothing wrong with that sand hook. I'm just going to put a lug over the top of that. Having dug them, what was it? To be honest, I quite enjoyed that digging this morning. It's nice to get out there and do something, isn't it, guys? Shadow of this man down there waving at me. Hi. This is lethal. 68 and I'm playing football with 10-ton boulders. I'm getting a little tap on this one here. Just this one. Just very, very small. It could be a piece of weed on there. I don't know. And again, this one. It looks a little bit of a slack liner. Just tying up slowly. This one is softer rod, softer blank, but I can wind over on it a bit more. Tension them up. Craig's just had another dogfish down there. Another guy's rocked up here. He's cast halfway to Wales, so he must be after smooth hounds, I guess. In fact, he cast so far, a guy over there in Cardiff said, if you do that again, mate, I'm going to come over there and sort you out. Threw the lead back. What an evening it's coming into. It is 4:20. I'm going to hang on, even though I've got a huge drive back. It'll be probably a midnight job. I've got to stay on while the tide is low. And I've got baits out that I definitely think are on the sand. No, I've got it tightened up there now, look. You can get it cranked over. I don't feel anything. I think I'll just wait till a bigger fish comes along. And live in hope, Graeme. The days of double figure cod are gone for me, I feel. It's strange because I looked over here, I don't know where you guys get that, and you can see a peripheral vision. You see bites out the corner of your eye, and you think, what's that, a bite? And I'm pretty sure that's a bite on that right on. Craig's going out again. There he goes, big heap-ho. Pause, whiz. Oh, there's a bite. Okay. Okay, probably a dogfish, but I am going to wind down here first, walk down here, rather than pull him into the boulders. Ooh. I'd sooner be closer to the water, so hopefully I don't get the line tangled around a boulder or anything like that. But guys, you get onto the wet stuff, do be careful. Right, crazy to get it up and over. Doesn't feel like there's any fish on there. I just want to get the gear back. I think I had a bite, then I missed it. Yeah, nothing on this time. Might top up with a couple more worms. What do you think, Smith? More worms? Or just stick with the sand eel? No, there's a bite, guys, look. There was a bite, absolutely mashed and mullered. That's annoying, it could have been a ray that's crashed that off. Let's put him in there, go back and rebait that one.
Go another small eye, a little bit bigger than the last one, so it's probably the second smallest small eye in Somerset. But you know, again, target species. Hopefully they're going to get a little bit bigger. You know, tide's still ebbing, so we've got a bit of the flood to come, and hopefully the smooth hounds will join the party as well.
Another doggy, guys. Here we go. Up against that sunshine, he looks sweet. Nice. Craig's had 2 rays. I'm dogfish king, but I'd like to get one of those rays before I go home. Listen, he's mullered that bait, so they're out there feeding. A lip hook dogfish. That's a rarity. Actually, it could be a PB.
We're now a few days into a few restrictions have been now lifted in England, where shore fishing has been allowed. Now, as many of you know, as Graeme has mentioned, I do shore guiding down here in Somerset. Now, obviously, there's a lot of adjustments I need to make with health and safety briefing and risk assessments going forward for my clients. Obviously, health and safety is paramount on all sessions, and to sort of adjust these, I've had to make extra measures. Now, everyone probably won't want to be wearing one of these sort of like fancy masks to protect them, and they're certainly not compulsory on my guiding sessions. But if any of my clients would feel safer and happier to wear one, then they're provided free of charge. Also, as an alternative, many anglers throughout the winter wear snoods as a neck warmer. These can be adapted to make as a mouth mask as well, so you're not looking like a bit of a numpty on the beach wearing a mask, even though it's good to make you look great.
They're cool, that's what you're trying to say.
Cool, that's what I mean, cool, yeah.
Even I might wear one of those, Craig.
I sort of been wearing the masks into the shop sometimes. I've been doing deliveries for the vulnerable locally, and I feel a bit of a wally wearing it, but it's all for the right reasons. But some people just won't wear them because they're very conscious of what they look like and their appearance, which is fair enough. Also other requirements on the guiding would be, obviously we totally have to respect the 2 metre distancing at the very least. Obviously personal one-to-one coaching with novices and junior anglers is probably going to be a bit of a no-no for the foreseeable future, purely because you have to get a little bit up personal, especially with someone who's never held a rod and a reel before, and I don't think it's acceptable to be sharing and holding a rod, sharing a tripod, moving the tripod back and forth. Alcohol gel, sanitizer, it will be with me at all times, and this is just an extra addition into the first aid kit required for my guiding, for my insurance purposes. At the current times we're making this film, things could very well change, and requirements to wear gloves, face masks, social distance is going to be changed during time, so it's best to keep up to date with local government and full government restrictions and the way they relax things. But you know, at the end of the day, anglers need to, as an angling body, everyone needs to be positive and respect the social distances. Nothing worse than seeing a group of people together, whether they're a group of lads on the beach having a barbecue, beers, or a group of lads fishing. It's not good, and everyone wants to keep our sport in a good light. Also, you know, many anglers know that social distancing is in fishing is part of it. No one wants to be sat on top of each other when you're fishing, and fishing and social distancing work hand in hand, and a full advantage should be taken of this. You can go miles, hundreds of metres away from an angler. Certain venues can get a little bit busy. I'd definitely personally avoid going to those, just because it's just not worth the hassle.
Well, I didn't have the head cam on, guys, but a tiny little baby eel here. There he is. Do they get any smaller? Little eel there. Baby conger eel is what it is. And he's still aggressive with a big jaw for the size of the fish. There we go, little eel. Quite a pretty little chap actually. But not big enough hopefully to bite my finger off. Come here you. There he goes. Out. Go on. Well, ticking away now. You can get a lot of little taps on this one, guys. Let's take a look at it. Nothing. Well, as it's slack tide, I think I may as well leave it out there with the grips. Even if the grip leads are tripped, I might as well leave it out there till the tide pulls. I've got 2 hooks on there, don't forget, not 2 double hooks, just 2 single snoods, 2 traces. So if one's even been chewed off, the other one should be okay. There we go, back in action. I don't want to bring it in because I say clock's ticking, another cast, time wasted, and there's a fish out there somewhere. I wouldn't mind finish off with one more dogfish or a ray would be nice, but had a good day.
Just had a nice little positive bite there, just as the tide turned, and we've just got a little spotted ray. You know, a nice little male. You can see it's a male by the claspers down here. That can identify as a male spotty. But the spotted ray, you can identify it by, it's very spotty obviously, but the spots don't reach, you know, the frill and the skirt of the wings. There's no spots on it, where a blonde ray which you could easily mistake it for, will have spots right to the tip of its wings. You've got to be very careful of the old spotty ray. They do have a lot of spikes. You can see just on the fringe of it, just to near the head end. As you can see, got hold of me nicely. It's a simple mistake. I sort of grabbed him to go. So
that's your blood, is it?
Yeah, that's my blood. It's not the fish's blood. So
I think the anti-bac must make that sting quite a bit.
I think it's going to sting like a beep. So yeah, I should put a bit of that on. Just you know, you don't know what diseases are in the sea, do you? You know, so we'll put it on there.
Nice fish, well done, Craig.
But yeah, anyway, lovely little spotted ray. We'll put him back.
Well, Craig certainly did his business, didn't he? Rays, spotted rays, small-eyed rays, smooth hounds, dogfish, and I got the dogfish trophy. Okay, and the Conger Cup. Guys, that was my first trip out after the lockdown. Good bit of fun, just nice to get out on the beach again. I'm going, literally, in about 1 hour's time, the other way, up to the east. Hit that subscribe button, both channels, TA Fishing, TA Outdoors. We'll see you next time. No, I have no idea what I'll even be fishing for. Good luck with it.